Hey everybody, welcome back to the videos, or for my first star class, welcome to your first video. Just a reminder what happens, you watch the video, at the end of the video there are 2 questions I need you to answer on your own, and those questions are actually going to be on the quiz, which you will take on Edmodo. It's just 3 questions, it's what you learn, answer 2 questions at the end of this video, and then any questions or comments that you have for me. So let's get started with this video. This section, or this chapter actually, is all about surface area of different shapes. So we're going to start with surface area, then we're going to work our way to volume. But for this section only, it's just going to be about prisms. So let's start with definition of a polyhedron. So these notes are also on your green sheet. A polyhedron is a closed solid with flat surfaces. So a cube, a tetrahedron, dodecahedron, icosahedron, all of those are polyhedrons. All the faces of these polyhedrons are polygons. So polygons are any closed surface with straight edges. And the lines where they intersect are called edges. So all these are edges. A regular polyhedron is where all the faces and the edges are congruent. So everything's the same shape, same size, same everything. So these are just some fancy ones. I thought they're kind of cool. They're kind of cool to make those. I don't know how they would, but it'd be cool. So on a right hexagonal prism, so the bases of any prism are the parallel sides. So this base and right here are bases. And they're normally the non-rectangular sides. Now sometimes when it's a rectangular prism or a square prism, then they're all rectangles. But in everything else, it's usually the other shapes. So triangles, hexagons, pentagons, trapezoids, anything and everything. The lateral faces are the faces that are not the bases. So they're normally the rectangular faces. And the lateral edges are the parallel edges joining the vertices of the base. So these right here are the edges. So it's not the edges around the base, it's the edges connecting the bases together. And the altitude is just the height, so it's the distance from one base to another. These are non-polyhedra. I thought it was kind of a cool picture. These are not polyhedras because they don't have flat sides. I mean, this is a cylinder. So it looks like it's got flat sides, but actually the other side is curved. Here's a sphere, and here's a cone, and we're actually going to learn those later, but just today, we're just talking about prisms. So to find the lateral surface area of a prism, so that is the area all the way around that's not the bases. So it's all the rectangular faces. So not the bases. So in this case, it's all the blue, but not the red. So to find that, what we want to find is this area right here all the way around. So I just want to find the round edges. So to find that, we need to find the area of one of these, because these are all regular polygons. So that means all of these sides are 14. So this one's 14, this is 14. All these sides are 14. And also, since this side is 8 right here, that means all of these sides are also 8, all the way around. So to find the lateral area, I want to find the area of all of those together. So first, let's find the area of one of them. We have, let's see, they're rectangles, so the area formula for rectangles is base times height. So one of these is going to be 8 times 14. And 8 times 14 is 112. So one of these is 112 square centimeters, because we're talking about centimeters, we're talking about area, we square it. Now if you notice, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of these. So to find the total lateral area, instead of finding each one of these 5 times, I'm going to take the 112 and times it by 5 to get my final answer of 560 square centimeters. So that is my lateral area. And that is usually the first step for finding the total surface area. Now you're thinking to yourself, oh my gosh, that's going to be forever, because if we have different sizes, that's going to take forever. So I actually have a shortcut for you. To find this lateral surface area of a prism, it has to be a right prism. What that means is where the base and the lateral areas or lateral sides meet is a right angle. Doesn't mean that the bases have right angles. It means that all the lateral areas or lateral sides have right angles. So to find that, you just take the perimeter of your base. So here we'd have 3 plus 4 plus 5, because that side's 5. So that would be 12. And we're going to take that times the height, which in this case was 8. So this would be 96 square inches. See, that was a whole lot faster than trying to figure out everything. So let's try it again, see if we get the same answer. So before we got 560 square centimeters. So let's try it again now that we know our shortcut. So we know all 5 of these sides are 14. So to find the perimeter, we do 14 times 5, which is 70. So this is 70 centimeters. So now to find the lateral area, we take the perimeter times by the height. And 7 times 8 is 560 centimeters squared, which is exactly what we got before. So you can use any way you want to, whichever is more comfortable for you. I kind of like this way because then I don't have to figure out what each one of these is going to be. I can just find them all together, but completely up to you. So to find the total surface area, which is what this whole entire section's about, is you take the lateral area plus 2 times the area of the base. Because the lateral area is the blue and you have 2 bases, so you want to make sure you include both of them. So if you find one base, you just times it by 2, add it to the whole lateral area, and you're done. So the surface area, if you think about it, is the amount of area it takes to cover a shape. So you want to figure out how much cardboard you need for a box, or how much wrapping paper you need to wrap a gift. Hint, 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 teachers like gifts too. Just kidding, not really. But anyway, so let's move it on. Find the total surface area of the following prism. So for this shape, we can go about it 2 different ways. We can find the lateral area, then find the base area and add those all together, or you can find the surface area or find the total area of each of these sides. We're going to do it both ways so you can see how it works. So let's start with just finding the lateral area. Now in this case, the parallel sides for my bases are going to be the triangles. So to find the lateral area, I need to find the perimeter of my base. Well, that's my one base. So it's 6 plus 10 plus 8. So the perimeter, write that down. So 6 plus 10 plus 8 is going to be 24. So my lateral area is going to be 24 times my height. And the height of this triangular prism is 4. So my lateral area is going to be 96 meters squared. So the next step is to find the base area. And we usually write that as just BA. You don't have to write area of base, you can write BA. Abbreviations are awesome. So this is a triangle. Now if we remember, thinking back to last chapter, the formula for area of a triangle was base times height divided by 2. Well, in this case, you have to figure out where your actual height and your base are. The reason I know that 6 and 8 are going to be my base and my height is because of this right angle right here. It's a right triangle, so if I were to draw this out, I know this is 6, I know this is 8, this is my 10. Since the right triangle, that is my base and my height. So this is going to be 6 times 8 divided by 2. Well, that is 48 divided by 2, so that is 24 meters squared. Don't forget the units. So that means one base is 24 meters squared. So my total area, and you can either write it as SA or TA, they mean the same thing, so surface area or total area, is equal to my lateral area. I'll write 9 instead of 69. So 96 plus my 2 base areas, so 24 twice because I have 2 bases. So what you get is 144 meters squared. So that is my total surface area. And that's one way to do it, which was finding the lateral area and the base areas. We also have another way of trying it, which works just as well. Some people find it a whole lot easier, some people don't. It just depends on what you prefer. So give me a second while I erase all this. So to do that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to find the surface area or the area of each different shape. So I'm going to find the area, oops, that is a bad rectangle, sorry about that. I'm going to find the area of this rectangle right here. So that area is just 10 times 4, which is 40. Next, I'm going to find the area of this rectangle. And that is 8 times 4, which is 32. And you guessed it, I'm now going to find the area of my other rectangle, which is 6 times 4, which equals 24. Now, if you notice, if I add all 3 of these up, so we're going to add these together. Oh, I just ruined it. Let me fix it real fast. So my total area here, if I do 40 plus 32 plus 24, I get 96. And if you look back, that's the lateral area that we got before when we did it the other way. So this works just as well, gets you the same exact thing. So last but not least, so now that I have all those sides, now I'm going to find the area of my base, which is this whole triangle. And we found that earlier by taking 6 times 8 divided by 2, which gave us 24. And since I have 2 of them, I'm going to times this by 2 to get 48. So my total surface area, so surface area, which is total area, use either one of these, and the next ones I'll use one or the other. That is equal to 96 plus 48, which will give us the 144 meters squared that we got before. So you can see that it works both ways. It doesn't matter which one you use, it's whatever you're more comfortable with. For harder shapes, I find this easier than trying to remember a formula, but for other shapes, finding the lateral area is a lot easier. It just depends. So our next problem, this is a cube. So a cube means that every single side of this shape is a square. So it means all of the sides are 10. So if I were to find the lateral area, so this one would be kind of hard to figure out what base I want. So I'm just going to make this side right here, right on the top. That's my base. You can pick whatever you want. They're all the same shape. Doesn't matter. So the lateral area is the perimeter times the height. Well, the perimeter is 10, 20, 30, 40. So the lateral area is equal to 40 times, now the height of this is how far from base to base, which is 10. So that is 400 meters squared. And then my base area is just the area of the square right here, which is 10 times 10, which is 100 meters squared. So my total surface area is equal to 400 meters squared plus 100 for one of my bases. And now I add another 100 for my second base. And that gives me 600 meters squared. Now that's a long way to do it for a cube. The other way to do it for a cube is, if you notice, like I said, this is a cube, so each side's a square. So that means each side has the same amount of area. So if I find the area of one shape, or one side, which is 100, how many sides do I have? Well, I have the top and the bottom, so that's 2. The left and the right, so that's 4. And the front and the back, which means 6. So I could take just 100, which is one area of one side, sorry, times the number of sides of my shapes, which is 6, which I can do only in a cube. And that is equal to 600 meters squared. So for a cube, it's actually a whole lot easier to find the area of one side and just times it by however many sides you have. For this next one, it's a rectangular prism. So again, you can pick whatever shape you want because all the sides are parallel and all the sides are rectangular. So pick one side as your base. It doesn't matter. For sake of this, I'm just going to pick the top and bottom as my base because usually the bases are, standing on top and bottom. So we'll pick that one. So my lateral area. Lateral area is the perimeter times the height. So we have 4 plus 4, because this side's 4, plus 5 plus 5, because both those sides are 5. So I get 10 and 8, so I get 18 times the height. So the distance from this base to this base, which is 7 inches. So 18 times 7 is 126. This is inches squared, because we're talking about area here. So to find the base area, because we always do lateral area times 2 times the base, or plus 2 times the base area. So my base area, since it's a rectangle, is just base times height. So this is 4 times 5, which is equal to 20 inches squared. So to find the total surface area, it is my lateral height plus 2 times my base. Well, 126 plus 40 is 166 inches squared. So that's just using the lateral area and base area. Again, you could go straight through it and find the area of all 6 of these sides and then add them all together. So let's do that just so you guys get the feel of it. It doesn't really matter which way you do it. Either way works. And don't worry, I only have one more example after this, so the video feels like it's getting long. It's almost over, I promise. Just hold on. So let's first find that area. Well, we said that before, it was 4 times 5. So 4 times 5 is 20. Now I have 2 of those, though. because I have the exact same shape and size down here. So I'm going to times this by 2, and I get 40. Well, now I also have my front and back. So I have this side and this side, and both of those are 4 times 7. Okay, so 4 times 7, which is 28. And as we said before, we have 2 of those, so we get 56. Well, now we have, I'm going to erase all this because it's looking kind of confusing. Now we have this front and back. So we have this shape, and we have this one. And those are 5 by 7. So 5 times 7, which is 35. And we have 2 of those, so we get 70. And if we add all of those up, hopefully we get 166, because otherwise we did it wrong. And we do. We get 166 inches squared. So you can go about it either way you want. For the rectangles, I kind of prefer finding it this way, but I mean, it's rectangles, it's easy area to find, doesn't really matter. But like I said, it does not matter which one you use. So for our last example, we want to find the total area of this hexagonal prism, and you can call it hexagonal, hexagonal, it's potato, potato. So let's do finding the lateral area, because this one could be a little tricky with it being a hexagon. So the lateral area is equal to the perimeter times the height. So the perimeter, all 6 of these sides are 8, so it's 8 plus 8 plus 8 plus 8 plus 8 plus 8, which is 48. So 48 times our height, so base to base is 4. So 48 times 4 is 192 yards squared. So that's our lateral area. That's the distance all the way around. So it's all these little rectangles added together. So to find the base area, remember this is a hexagon. So a hexagon, the formula for any polygon actually, is the apothem, so 6.9, times the perimeter, which we found to be 48 early on, divided by 2. So when I get all this, so 6.9 divided, or times 48 divided by 2 gives me 165.6 yards squared. So my total area, so my surface area, is equal to my lateral area of 192 plus 2 times my base area, which is 165.6. And I get 523.2 yards squared. So I want you to go back if you're still confused, watch the video again, look at all the examples, make sure you understand it, and then I have 2 questions for you. So the first one is I want you to find the total surface area of this prism. Now, go back to this example, it'll help you. But I want you to solve this one on your own. I'm not going to help you at all. And I want you to put your answers on Edmodo on the quizzes. If you have any trouble getting on them, email me on Edmodo, write me a little note, email me. You have my email address from the project that we did. If you have trouble with the quiz, make sure you are taking it on an actual computer and not an app. We found out 8th hour that it doesn't work with the app. You have to take it on an actual computer. So at this time, pause the video, do the questions, write it down on a separate piece of paper. Keep the paper just in case it doesn't take on the quiz, so you can just do it again. I'm going to move on to the next question, but make sure you pause. So the second question that I want you to answer is this one. This is a rectangular prism, because it's not a square, because the height's not 11, it's 9. So you can go back to 3 slides ago. Well, in your case, it'd be probably about 10 minutes ago. And watch the example on here. Find the surface area of this rectangular prism, and then you are done. Make sure you take the quiz before class tomorrow. That way I can figure out what I need to go over in class. Thanks for watching.